My name is Chris Coleman. I want to thank you for joining us for the first episode of Champion Connections. Now, what Champion Connections is just a way for me to interview others that can hopefully inspire, educate, motivate, and get you to taking action. So, in these video series, you'll see an assortment of different entrepreneurs, different bloggers, different artists, different writers in various genres who are doing something, who are making things happen for themselves, and who are looking to make an impact to change the world. Now, I hope you enjoy this first episode with my good friend, Alex Jeffery, hailing from Australia. I would like to introduce Mr. Alex Jeffery, the man from down under, doing some great things. And I'll let Alex explain a little bit about what he's doing and what he has done.
Cool. All right. Basically, I'm just very passionate and very into entrepreneurship. Mainly just making things happen, coming up with ideas and visions, and then actually being resourceful and pulling a team together and making them happen. So my first kind of venture was when I was 14, and it was an online charity auctionings website. So people could post things and put things up for auction and designate for a percentage of the sale to go to a charity. Because eBay Australia didn't have that function yet. So I thought that was a massive opening and a massive mistake on their behalf. It's such a big opportunity to do something good with such a big marketplace that they had, but they just hadn't done that yet. It wasn't one of their priorities. So that was one thing I did, and I also campaigned against eBay Australia to have them implement the systems because eBay UK and eBay US both had that. You could designate to donate a percentage of your sale to a charity. So I didn't know why they couldn't do it in Australia, but eventually they did. So that kind of took out my market. So that shut down, but that's all right. Everything I do is very mission driven. So in the end, I suppose that mission was fulfilled, whether it was because of me or whether I was the one that gained from it or whatever. I don't really mind. The mission was still fulfilled, and that's what I'm mainly about. You have a mission, you have a vision, and you do whatever it takes to get there. No matter how, if it's used, then that's awesome. If it's not, then it's still awesome because it still happened. So that was my first thing. The next thing was a social clothing company. The whole idea was to really use clothing as a force for good, I suppose. You see all this clothing with the skulls and the guns and death and all this bad stuff for children, and it just does not give the right image and does not influence children in the right way.
Yeah.
The other side was that there's so many flaws and so many big problems in the clothing industry, like child labour, fair trade, and all of that side of things. So it's using clothing to solve both of those issues. Not only have wearable designs that are awesome that people want to buy, but also have them made ethically. And it was also based off the one-for-one model. So everyone that was bought, we would give one to someone in need.
Makes sense.
So it was very, a social clothing company. We ran one in Melbourne. I'm very into music as well, which was based on a clothing drive. So it's called Club to Clothe. You have to bring a piece of second-hand clothing to get into the music night.
Okay.
And that clothing was donated to the Melbourne's homeless youth.
Okay.
So we managed to collect over 600 pieces of clothing.
Oh, wow.
For Melbourne's homeless in one night. So that was quite an achievement. But now I've moved on from that as well. Clothing's not really my thing. It was great, and obviously you learn a hell of a lot from all these early ventures. But now I'm working on back into music because that's where my main passion is. And I feel music is so influential. It brings people together from all walks of life. It speaks different languages to different people. I'm really using music to bring people together, to change a couple of things, and also just to make it easy for musicians because the music industry is so unstructured. It's very hard for musicians to actually get out there and spread their message. So we're really trying to make it easier for them to do that.
Yeah.
So then we can make a bigger difference to music.
That's awesome, man. So did you always believe that you would be an entrepreneur? Things that it happened because of a situation that you saw, a problem that arose, and you said, "Why not build it myself, or why not create it myself?"
Yeah. Well, it was kind of when I was 11. I said the whole thing. I want to be the one to make the biggest difference in the world, and I kind of saw myself as having two options. I could either be a celebrity and be influential that way and make a difference through being a celebrity, or I could be a businessman and make a difference through business. And I'm just not a celebrity. And I thought business is a much better way to make a difference anyway, because it's so influential. Like, we interact with businesses every day, otherwise we couldn't survive.
Exactly.
So if you can make the businesses that people interact with every day, if you can make them influential and make them a force for good, then you're going to make a much longer lasting and much more integrated change.
Okay.
And I mean, you can be a business celebrity anyway, like with your grandson. So
there it is.
So yeah, that was the course I did.
So let's talk about failures, how you learn from those, and how that has helped you move forward. You said with the eBay Australia change you were looking to implement. Obviously, you personally weren't successful at that, but it was later implemented. What about with your other ventures? Have you failed, or you haven't reached the marks that you wanted and decided, hey, I need to move on, but I've learned from this experience? How can you let the audience know how you relate that?
Yeah. I never think failure is failure. It's obviously just a temporary learning curve. Failure, if you let it be failure, of course it's failure. But yeah, those early ones, it was just definitely not a failure, I suppose, because it does help when you're young and you do have family around you. You're not dependent on this business to make your income to keep you alive. So that does help. If I was 30, 40 and this was the only thing I was doing and I depended on it, then I probably wouldn't have moved on anyway. I probably would have kept going and going, because I did depend on it, and I didn't have these other things around me to support me. I would have just kept it on going, because I believed in it, and as long as you keep going, it's never failure. But because I had these other things around me, I moved on and tried something different. But never failure. I learned a hell of a lot from those experiences. That just makes the next venture even stronger. And then if that one doesn't go as well again, you learn a lot. It makes the next one stronger.
Sure.
Eventually, you learn the key kind of foundations that you can take on, and then one of them is going to be up one day.
All right. So, give an example of something that you've learned by failing. A real life example. Yeah.
Okay. So one thing, definitely build a team around what you're doing. My first two, I was doing more by myself, and trying to manage all aspects of everything. But obviously, you just can't do that. You're only good at certain things, and you have to pull people on board who are good at the things that you're not good at. Not only that, but there's so many things that you didn't think of when you're working by yourself. But as soon as you bounce ideas off other people, it just helps you create a lot more, be a lot more innovative. So that, and being innovative is such a big part of business, especially today with so much competition. So having another brain to dig off and bounce ideas off is very, very useful. That's probably the main thing, and the first thing I've changed for my next venture.
Okay. So, seeing that you are so young, do you think that's played a role in people looking to support you, or people not taking you as serious as someone who may be older, or do you see it as a benefit?
Yeah, a lot of the work I do is remote online, and I very rarely tell anyone my age. like a lot of the designers I worked with the clothing companies, they were international, in Hungary and the US and wherever. And yeah, there was never any question about my age or anything. But yeah, I don't think it did have much of an impact.
Okay.
I the last well, in another business I'm working on right now, Get Busy, which is a platform for small businesses. We pitched to investors a couple of weeks ago. It went well, but they asked us to come back in 5 months to do it again.
Oh,
5 weeks to do it again. But basically, yeah, they just said that we look like two teenagers trying to start up a hobby. So yeah, that was the first time that our age really came into it. I think I'm not sure why they said that. Maybe in the way we were wording our pitch or something. But that was the very first time ever that our age actually came into play.
No, well, congrats on getting an opportunity to pitch, because half the people that have businesses don't even make it that far. So for all you all out there, doesn't really matter your age. Why not create something that you're passionate about? So
That's right.
speaking on passion, see the guitar behind you, guitar, should I say? You obviously love music.
Yes.
There's a quote that says, what is it? Something along the lines of, if you work on your passion, you might not be rich, but if you work on solving a problem, you'll end up being rich. Do you believe that you've found that balance to be able to work on things you like, or against working on something you're really passionate about that won't per se make as big of a difference or solve as big as a problem?
Yeah. Music for me right now, I don't play in a band or anything. Music for me is really just my kind of getaway. What I use to relax, what I use to tune out. And yeah, I would never really try and make my personal music. I'd never try and make that my career, my path. But music in terms of running events and managing other talents and helping other artists make it, that's obviously one major thing I'm focusing on right now. Just because I am so passionate about it, I'm involved in it, and I see where it can go and how it does help people. So yeah, the balance, I think, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about the whole work-life balance thing, and trying to balance your job and work with all your hobbies and your friends and family and life. And I am a very big believer in work-life integration rather than work-life balance. I really don't think you should have to leave yourself at home to go to work.
Very true.
So, yeah, I just think that's wrong. And I think there is a shift coming where people are starting to live more authentically, especially our generation. They're starting to realise that, yes, a job sometimes isn't the way to go. As long as if it is aligned perfectly, then that's awesome. Definitely do it. But yeah, I don't think people should be leaving themselves at home to go to work, then to come back and spend 2 hours before they go to sleep, then wake up again, then go to go home and go to work again.
So how do you personally balance your life? Because you have multiple businesses, and then, like you said, we're still human beings. We have emotions. We have reasons to get away from everything. How do you balance that?
That's one area I need to work on. I have a lot of people that tell me I need to work on that, but I'm a martial artist as well.
Oh wow!
So that's one of my escapes.
Black belt?
And third degree.
Oh man!
Probably see the belts at the back there. And
okay, now I see him. So guys, if you see this man on the street, do not rob him. Don't do it.
No. But yeah, that's one of my escapes, the fitness side of things. I know fitness and exercise is obviously a massive escape for a lot of people. It's also good for productivity. But yeah, music and martial arts are probably my escapes. and I try and spend as much time as possible with family and friends, but I need to work on that a lot myself. I think, for me, the problem is I don't know, for some reason I think I have to get everything done right now. I don't like having downtime too much. I feel like I'm wasting time. But I need to get over that sometimes and do spend some more downtime. That's one of my downsides.
So that's fair enough. All right, so from your journey, when you were 11 to now, what do you think has been one of the biggest factors in you continuing to move forward? For example, was it like building up your mindset? Was it watching videos to learn from others how to do A, B, and C? Because you weren't just born and was like, oh, I know how to market, I know how to create business plans, I know how to do this and that. What do you say is your biggest thing that has helped you move along?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is doing it. When you have those small successes and you get momentum, they build your belief system. And then you try bigger things and you get small successes again and it builds your belief system. It's a very big feedback loop. So that's one thing. The other thing is obviously investing in yourself, personal development. I've invested a few $1,000s since year 10 into personal development with business coaches and consultants and life coaches and stuff. So building yourself is very important. And I think lots of people don't put enough time into themselves. But really, you do have to build your mind because that's what controls everything. That's what controls the results that you get and the changes that you make. So I do think personal development, but you have to know kind of what areas you do need to work on. You can't really just go in blindly. I think the very first thing you need to work on is clarity on yourself and where you're heading and your purpose and what you are passionate about. And then once you've got that, then you can start investing in other programs on marketing or whatever it is that you need to be able to get to that place that you discovered before. So I think clarity on your purpose and why, your inspiration, I think that's something that lots of people miss, and that needs to be covered.
See, guys, this is golden stuff right here. This is why half the people that make New Year's resolutions don't fulfill them, because it starts up here. So
right.
if you had 5 books for someone just starting out that you would suggest for personal development, I know that's a tough question. You probably don't have them memorized off the top of your head, but if you just pull them out, 5 books that you've read or want to read that you believe can help somebody.
Okay. There's the Stephen Covey one. I remember what it's called. Seven Habits of Effective Leaders, effective people. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And then there is actually I've got one right here. Yes, The New Psycho-Cybernetics.
Oh, that's a good book.
So there's that one. Then what other books?
I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like this.
I won't, stall too long, but they're probably the 2. I don't read too many books, so they're probably the 2 main influential books that I've read. I just look into a lot of other leaders like Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and emulate and model their behaviors. But again, model them off where like, don't look at Richard Branson when he's 50 years old and try and say I need to be like him now. Go look at where he was when he was 19 years old and model that.
There you go.
Otherwise, you will give yourself false hopes and you'll fail and you'll lower your belief systems. And that feedback loop will go back the other way.
Your chapter 2 is not someone else's chapter 20.
That's right.
So, Um, Speaking off of emulating, a lot of people always say, well, I don't really know how to do um, what I want to do. If I want to be a singer, I don't really know where to start. And they're always like, well, I'm going to look for a mentor.
Yeah.
Um, do you believe that you can take action without a mentor and have, I guess, quote unquote, those are your mentors, though you've never met them? Um, or do you believe that people should try to find a mentor to guide them before they make any type of mistakes?
Um, I think it's definitely better to find a mentor, and to be aware of the possible mistakes and things that might come up before you hit them. I still think it's better to learn by doing and actually to learn and fail first, experience it, because that's when you learn failure the most and the best is when you feel it and you experience it, not just read about it or see it. Um, so yeah, I think it's still good to experiment a lot and just do fail, try new things. But it's very handy to know and to be able to kind of foresee what's going to come up, and what things to expect down the path that you're planning to go. Um, with mentors that you do actually have contact with, obviously they're very, very powerful. Just having that person, almost like a personal advisor, who can give you just tips every now and then or guide you in the right direction. That's very handy. I never got a personal mentor until 1 year ago, and yeah, it's just very, very helpful.
How did
But
that
yeah, I
How did that
definitely.
happen?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
He's actually one of our clients now for Get Busy.
Oh.
Um, he's a chairman of advisory boards here in Melbourne, and he's about 70 years old, but he's been involved in well over 60 startups and companies on their advisory boards as chairman. Um, so he's very good with raising capital, and that's why we connected. Um, but yeah, that's how that one happened.
That's awesome. So I noticed that you're very big um, on social. Well, I guess the internet. I typed in your name on Google, and you take up like the first 5 pages. Uh, can you talk about how you utilize the technology that is put out there,
Yeah.
practically for free, to help get you to meet different people, help connect you with like-minded people, because that I know that hinders some people's journey. They're like, I don't have these friends or anyone around me that is looking to do what I want to do, so they get discouraged and they listen to people that have no experience being successful and talks them out
Yeah.
of that. How have you used technology to your advantage?
Um, a lot of it is networking, obviously. So when it was probably when I was 14, or even not, if not earlier, I was networking and meeting people international. The first entrepreneur I met, he was in Israel, going through um, a incubator, and for his startup, which was it My School Help, which was a kind of a internal school network. But yeah, he was the very first entrepreneur, I suppose, that I got in contact with international, and just started speaking with him about his journey and where he started, where he's going next, how he does what he does, and yeah, just talking to people, and networking that really helps you get clear on what you're doing. But again, it's kind of like a mentor, I suppose. Not someone who's been there, done that though, but someone who's kind of you can share learnings of each other. So that's definitely one thing, networking. The other thing is productivity, technology for productivity. Very, very helpful. There's so many little productivity hacks, obviously, that you can do, that really help you get the most out of your day.
With some of your favorites?
Blocking Facebook at the moment,
Ooh.
for a lot of the day. That's very handy. Lots of people don't know that every now, like I think there's a statistic, as soon as you lose focus, it takes you 6 minutes to get back to key focus again. So lots of people just nick over and check their Facebook for a bit. As soon as they come back, it's going to take another 6 minutes for them to gain focus again before they can start really working effectively. So even that 5-second check of Facebook gives you 6 minutes of work time, proper work time. So just little things like that, they all add up. So using like reminders and things, I have a little app in my right-hand corner to follow the Pomodoro technique. So working for 25 minutes and have a break for 5 and come back and work for 25 minutes, just so that you work effectively when you're working and not one thing at a time. And then also emails, massive distraction for people. No one likes having the 2 unread emails, so they always look over and check their emails and make sure they've got no unread emails every now and then. Whereas I batch all my emails, so I'll only answer them 3 times a day. Check them and answer them 3 times a day.
You've obviously read the 4-Hour Work Week.
Yes, Tim Ferriss.
Okay, so that's what I figured.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another one. But technology, so many hacks and so many useful applications that people should really be capitalizing.
Okay. Well, I know we're running out of time, and the last question I have for you is, for those people out there that are starting their journey or are in the middle of their journey, do you have any advice or any tips that you've learned or you've done or you've experienced that can help them along?
I think, action, of course, do it. Less thinking, more doing, but also remember why you're doing it. I'm very big on the why and inspiration. Start with the why, and then build on your why, your inspiration, your purpose. So when times get tough, just don't think about anything else but why you're doing it. If you have to, create a little captivating and really in-your-face why video that gets you up in the morning and gets you straight in the zone. You know why you're here. And just keep watching that every morning, and every time things get a little bit tough, just watch it again. But I think just action, keep doing it, and remember why you're doing it.
All right. Well, let everybody know at home how they can connect with you. You can shout out all your social media stuff if you'd like.
Okay. So www.alexjeffery.me. Just make sure Jeffrey is Jeffery. Facebook.com/ajeffrey02. Twitter.com/ajeffrey02. LinkedIn is linkedin.com/ajeffrey02.
Making it simple.
That's probably it.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here. The great Alex Jeffery doing some awesome things. I'm sure we'll be reading all about you. But guys, he's giving you some great knowledge. He's doing things. He's actually making an impact, and we all can do the same thing. We just have to take action. So I thank you for your time. I know it's nighttime, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your night, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. Changing the world one person at a time.
That's it. Awesome.
I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Champion Connections. That was some great stuff that Alex talked about. Remember, our goal is connecting champions of today with leaders of tomorrow. So why not it be you? Look forward to watching our next video featuring a really good friend of mine, Joshua Davidson. I know you don't want to miss this one.